All right. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Chris Franks with Texas West Capital coming at y'all live here just north of Houston, Texas, just after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, and just in time for the continuation of the bull market, all right? Good to see y'all checking in today. Before we get going, please do me a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe, follow all those fantastic things we ask you to do each week. Leave a comment because it helps with the algorithms and helps us get seen a little bit better. As you may know, as you may have seen, I'm going to have Fibbo here with me today for a little bit. He's got a little bit of time, so he's going to jump in here with some of his charts. By the way, guys, if you have not done it yet, join us at TWCTradersClub.com. $50 a month, guys. You get access to the trades that I'm taking, the trades Fibbo's taking, and the trades that one of my best students, Andrew, is taking as well. And we're looking at potentially bringing in one more other top-performing student that I have to put in their stuff as well. So we've had a lot of wins this week. It's a great start to the week. Doing all the good here, I guess you could say. Get a lot of great feedback since we launched on Tuesday. So hopefully you guys will give it a chance. And let me see if I can pop this across the bottom in case I speak too fast or I speak too Texan, right? Let me see here. Let's do that one right there. There you go. TWCTradersClub.com, guys. You can get in there and get set, all right? So, Mr. Fibbo Swanee, how are you doing today, buddy?
Doing well. Hanging in there. Crazy day, but ready to do some more trading.
Look at that. His energy does not match mine. What is up with this? We need greater energy here. We need to get everybody excited because why wouldn't they be excited? Bitcoin's been rallying a bit, right? A lot of good, metrics coming out, on-chain data, stuff like that. Price go up, right?
Yeah, I'm ecstatic, to be honest. I mean, the weekly held, bullish structure held. We're bouncing off the lows. Lows probably in, ready to rock and roll. Hey, I'm ready.
There we go. And just in time for Q4, right? I mean, as we know, seasonality, September is usually the worst month. Specifically, it's usually the last 2 weeks of September. So far, we're up for the month, whether you're looking at stock indexes, you're looking at Bitcoin. So overall, kind of so far, shrugging off that seasonality thing. But let's make no mistake, guys. Q4 is where it's at, especially in crypto. Stocks as well, but especially in crypto, Q4 is where it's at. So if you aren't excited, I don't know what to tell you. But I know Fibbo's got a limited amount of time here. So let's go ahead and jump into the man's charts here. And let's see what he has to see. And let me see if I can make us look a little bit better here. If you see you guys got more on the charts there.
Just starting on the 4 hour. Everything looking pretty good. I like the way everything's been rocking and rolling here. The latest bull zone that we are in here went in on Tuesday. Definitely had the into the bull zone, had a little bit of momentum there for the bulls to get us started on this long green candle. And we bought. It did dip down a little bit, got us shaking in our boots a little bit, but you just got to trust the system and trust the support that you're seeing, or not the support, the momentum that you're seeing. And then it started to pop back up. One of the targets that I had was this trend line break, and I took the distance there, and I liked it a lot because it matched the start of my threshold pretty nicely. So that was where my first target was to be had. Once we went into the bull zone and we're long, that was the first level. And then actually we had we had another trade from back here. So when it went into the bear zone right here, it didn't funnel out. It didn't go below the previous shallow fib. So any longs that you had on, you kept the long on. So the long that you had from this one here was the sell at this target. And then when we went back into the bull zone, we sold at this target. So we've had two successful trades over the last couple of bull zones here. So now what do you do? Because that's now that we've hit this and I'm flat on the 4 hour. Two different ways of approaching this. One, I'm looking for a dip to the shallow fib, which while we're in the bull zone here, the shallow fib is currently at 62,130. So if we dip down to that point, I'll have a limit order in there. Actually, I have a limit order in at 62,135. I just kind of round it up a little bit. So my limit order's in. So if it dips down there, I'll get back long. And then the next target, if this one gets in will be inside the fib extension zone that hasn't hit. Basically, it's kind of confusing because we went into the bear zone, but it didn't really go bearish. So we're still looking at this fib levels back in when we went into this bear zone and into this bull zone. So when you look at those extensions, the 127 to 141 area is between 66.5 and 68.1. My target comes in right around 66.9. So, the title of the show is 65K by next week. I think maybe 66.9 by next week. I'm going to go a little bit further and kind of go a little bit above 65, because if this bull zone is doing what it's doing, we get some bullish momentum behind it. If we get some buying interest off this dip, I wouldn't be surprised to see that 65 or 66 kind of hit, in the next several days or several hours. You never know in this market. But that's what I'm looking at, is the buying the shallow fib with a target there, or if it doesn't dip down to the shallow fib and we get 3 consecutive settles above this 200% level at 63,863, since I'm flat and I have no exposure, that's the only reason I would take that trade, is if we get 3 consecutive 4-hour candles above that 63,863 level, then I'll actually go long and go from that point and go long into that target of 66.9. If it ends up 3 settles that are close to that target, I'll be looking for the next target of 74.6. But that's a lot of ifs and a lot of things got to happen between that. Yeah. And this target inside this zone comes from, let me zoom back here a little bit, comes from the start of a threshold back here. So that start of a threshold inside that zone is why I'm picking that level inside that zone is where that comes from. So to me, I'd like to get a fill down on the shallow fib and then bounce, but if not, I'll buy 3 settles on the 200% and go from there. Either way, I like it's one of those markets that just aren't screaming straight up, but I do like the stair stepping. It's kind of ugly, but then again, it's establishing a nice foundation to get going. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just not one of those that's taking off, but this overlapping of coming down and retracing and still kind of holding that bullish structure, I kind of like the way that's kind of looking. So that's where I'm at on the 4-hour. I'm just I took some 2 trades. I think those 2 trades were the ones that were in the
Traders Club,
our new traders thing. I've had 3 trades come through and they've all hit. So hopefully anybody that's following the traders group is making a little money. At least pay for the $50 that you paid for the first 3 months, right? But that's what I'm looking at on the 4-hour. So everything looking good. Moving over to the daily. Daily just went into the bull zone. Now there's the difference here on this one was we bought way back here on this dip. Because my trades right now on BTC, I got my fill at 53.5, and I don't have that on the chart, but there was some buying while in the bear zone areas, and that got filled. And then we just got filled again at 61,785 on the new bull zone. So the targets for this is we went into the bull zone here pretty much at the extension here. So you got to look up to the next target, which is at 67.9, which is the 200% level. So that's going to be where I would trade that first 10% I bought back here. And the new bull zone that we just went into has a target up here. 73.7 to 76.5 is the zone. But I'm taking the high right here, which touches right at the bottom of this fib extension zone. So that's going to be my second target. So I'm 20% long. So I'm going to be selling 10% there, selling 10% there. The shallow fib is in play for another buy to the downside. So I have an order at 62,250. So if it actually dips down there, I'll get more long on the daily going forward. I'm not super happy with the momentum because the ADX is pretty low. but I do like that it's starting to inch back the other way.
Yeah.
And if we can get a couple more day over day increases on that ADX, that'll be a good signal that the momentum is continuing to build. But right now, 20% long with a couple extra targets. Another couple of places to kind of look. I mean, if you take this trend line, which is pretty flat, this one right here is a trend line, but then there's another one that if you kind of look at this one here, anywhere right in this area. So I feel like once we get past this level, we'll get out of this consolidation. From a chart that I had a while back, 65.5 was kind of my level that I needed to see. I don't know what yours is, Chris, but we'll look at it when we go to your charts. But I think there's probably some type of level that will help you solidify the low. And I think for me, we got to get up above that 65.5. But I think we're kind of headed there, and I think we can get that by next week. The title of the show, as long as this structure is continuing to go, and I like it, I can see that 65 hitting, and I think that's the level that once we get to that point, we can start to see some short covering, and maybe we can get a short squeeze beyond that point, and then that's when we can get up into the 70K area or more once that happens. But until then, I'll buy the dip, sell the targets, just kind of follow the trend, because that's what we do on my method. So that's where we're at on daily. Let's go into the weekly here. A couple of things that I'm happy about is, one, we definitely held the bull zone.
Yep.
So we're still maintaining that bullish structure. I showed this chart last time, the low before the rally on each one of these. So I kind of did the cycle on these ever since this low right here. We had another low right here before the rally. And then we had this low that I'm hoping is before the rally. And we're kind of in that rally at the moment, hopefully. But another thing that I was looking at was from the low to when it hit the high was 33 bars here. This one only took 26. So I'm kind of taking the difference and kind of looking at 30 bars here as either hitting the 102%, which was this rally, or the 196%, which was this rally. So either way, if we get the 102 or the 196, it matches up pretty nicely with the fib extensions. We got the 100% here at 97.9, which is pretty close to this level. And then the 200% level is at 146, which matches up that percentage pretty good, which also gives a key extension off of my threshold over here at 145. So if this is going to hold true, then we're going to rally on up to either this level or the next one. I'll take either one. It doesn't matter to me. And then the timing of that would be, way into next year, but 2025 would be a nice positive year as we go forward. So I like the way this is holding. This wick down here, hit this low, but then again we just touched the shallow fib again. So that shallow fib touch, and then the bounce from that is what I was ecstatic about. That we held the bullish structure. Got bought at 53.5. I can't complain. It's pretty much the low of this latest low, so I can't be too upset about that. Now we just need to get this momentum going and get some of these shorts out of here. I mean, if people want to be short, keep shorting it. Give me the fuel that I need to get us to that 97K. And then with that, I wanted to show a couple other things real quick on this. This one was this is one I've been following for a while, and this goes based on the trend line breaks when it went and then it retraced. That it took 78 bars to break the previous high once the trend line broke, and then it was 78 bars from this point, and then it broke. So when you look at this, 78 bars is October, baby. Let's get this moving. Get into October. Break that previous high. October time. Hey, why not, right? But if that happens, it's a nice little pattern here that gives us that October, timing of making highs and all that kind of stuff. On top of that, if you look at the October timeframes during election years, and it is an election year,
somebody's getting elected this year.
What now?
Somebody's getting elected this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is a date for the election, put it that way. But then when you look down at 2012, when we got to October, nice little bull run. 2016 got to October, nice little bull run. Another one here in 2020, nice little bull run. And we're getting close to October here with the bullish structure in the weekly. I like the way it's setting up for a possible run to the upside. So all of that together is why I'm happy about BTC at the moment. So that's where I'm at on BTC. Do you want to show anything on BTC, or do you want me to go through my stuff?
You know what? I know you're limited in time here, so why don't you go ahead and just show them your stuff there, man?
Yeah. Ethereum just had a nice little bull run, or a bull zone here. Got into the bull zone, bought, and actually hit the target this morning or early last night. And that was another trade that was in the traders group. We bought Ethereum on the bull zone and actually sold it. And just like BTC, I'm looking for the shallow fib my order's in at 2,500. I just got a 2,500 order in there just to have it in there. So if it dips down to that point, actually I have it at 2,550 because I don't like zero numbers. I don't know. It's just because I'm old school, I guess.
Yeah.
When that actually mattered back in the day. But I don't know if it still does, but I'm just kind of used to that. But then, so 2,500 on a dip would be my buy. And then the next target would be inside the zone, which starts right at the threshold, which is inside the fib extension level. And where this comes from is this 200% hit. So I got to go back in history to find the next key level. And then I take the fib off of that. So if that breaks that high, the fib extension is where you'd want to see for that next move. And then the threshold's right in there at 2692. And again, like on BTC, it's either going to be the shallow fib or 3 consecutive settles above the 200%. 2567, 45 is the level. So we get 3 4-hour candles above that. I'll buy that. And then the target would be 2692. Again, if it gets up here and gets the 3 settles that are relatively close to that target, I'll wait and I'll do the next target, which is the 200% at 2978. So everything looking pretty decent on Ethereum too, working to the upside there. So hopefully we get a little dip back before we head higher there. Ethereum on the daily, still waiting for a bull zone here. We're just testing the shallow fib. So even if we went into the daily today on the close tonight, it would only be 1 settle above. I would want to see 2 settles above the shallow fib. So we're going to need a couple more days to see if that comes to fruition or not. Yeah. But my system is a little bit more conservative. I'm sure there's other models that might give a buy signal a little earlier. And that's what's nice about having the Traders Club, of having 3 different mindsets, 3 different ways of looking at things. So maybe you're getting into Ethereum a little earlier than what my system shows. Mine's just a little bit more conservative, not as many trades, but they're just more higher probability trades, yeah. I guess you would say. So I'm kind of waiting on that on Ethereum. And then I'll flip into gold. Gold has been awesome. We've been really rocking and rolling on this one. Yeah. Where's my fib here? I'm going to move my fib up because that's going to move my threshold or my shallow fib here up a little bit. What we've done on this one, unfortunately, this one wasn't in the traders group yet because this was already ongoing. But we did buy in the bull zone, and we hit the first target. So this move right here, and a nice leverage trade with futures was very nice. Going in from the buy here up to this point, that target hit. We actually dipped down. So if you actually move this down to this point right here, the shallow fib was right here at 2588, which was bought. We had 2, and then the third settle was back above it. So we didn't have 3 settles, and it actually held the zone. So the zone and the support on the price chart working very well. So we bought at that point. And then as the market rallied up, we sold at the 2639 area for another nice little leverage trade there. So we've had 2 trades on gold. And then this one's going to be a little different. We got to wait for at least 3 settles above 2655, above this 141. And then I'll buy with 3 consecutive settles with that. And then the 200% at 2718 area for the next target. Or if this retraces back, the shallow fib's at 2607, and then I'll buy on that dip because it can even if it gets down to 2607, the bear zone is at 2568. So you can dip down to 2607, still be in the bullish structure. So you're going to want to buy that on the dip, and then the next target would be up at this 200%. So it depends if you get bought on the 3 settles above the 141 or the shallow fib. The next target is at 200%. And then let's see. That's it for on 4-hour gold. I haven't been trading the daily gold, so anybody that's been holding long term, we went into the bull zone back here with a there was a buy and then another buy in here, or a sell and then another buy. So either way, you've been on this long trek to where I'm waiting to hit this target of 27.37. Been in the bull zone for a long time. So if you've been trading it, you've been holding it in a while on this second buy, but I haven't been in it. I just been trading the 4-hour kind of in and out. So I haven't really done much on the daily, but daily's been bull zone. So one thing that gives me a little comfort of being long on the 4-hour is the structure in the daily still being very nicely supported on the way up.
Yeah.
DXY on this one was kind of interesting because we went on the basically went into the bull zone right here. But the previous shallow fib at this point in time was at 101.81. And as you can see, that level of resistance is not broken yet. So even though it went into the bull zone here, it's still a bearish structure. So I didn't do anything. And then it went into the bear zone again, went back into another bull zone, which still didn't break the previous shallow fib. But now we're in this bear zone here. I've been waiting for this downside target at 98.16 to even consider a long. So I've just been kind of waiting on that. So we're now back in the bear zone. And now what I have to do is, since we had a new low, I'm going to bring this all the way out here since this hasn't broken yet. So this is going to be my new previous shallow fib area right here. So if this goes back into a bull zone, this is the level now that it needs to break 3 settles to make it a bullish move. So we could actually go into the bull zone and still maintain the bearish structure if it still wants to hold that as resistance.
And what level is that?
That level is at 101.49.
101.49.
So
Okay.
that's where we're at on that on the 4-hour. And then on the daily on DXY, it actually hit my target right here. And I actually bought while in the bear zone. And then it went up and then started to come back down. I was like, I really just don't like this. It was just more of a gut feel. So I just went ahead and got out. I just didn't like it. So I'm actually going to hold out for 98.26 on the 200%. So 98.26 and on the daily is, and then 98.16 on the 4-hour. So that whole area right in there is going to be where I'm going to consider buying, unless it's just all out bearish coming down to that point and momentum super strong, then I might not. But right now, that's the level that I'm looking at on the 4-hour and the daily on the dollar. So, yeah, I got in and out. I don't know. It's just one of those things that I just didn't like it. I didn't like the way the momentum's still really strong for the bears, and I just didn't like it. Yeah. And then on SPY, we bought into the bull zone and actually hit the target. So you sold out. I haven't done anything else with this. You could have bought after 3 settles at 57.43 here. We had 1, 2, 3. So you could have bought right in there. And then you're holding out for the stop on that would be a bear zone. Too risky for me. The risk reward there's just too much. So I didn't want to really do that on my end. So I'm waiting for a shallow fib dip to 56.87 because 56.67 is the bear zone. So if this dips down to the 56.87, I'll buy that with the next target at 58.87 to the upside. And then on the daily, we went into the bull zone and I did buy, and then I bought right at the market on the new candle. So I'm underwater a little bit at the moment. If I wouldn't have bought, it's at the shallow fib, I probably would have bought anyway. But I'm in underwater a little bit, but I'm just going to hold this one, for the target this target is at 60.50. So that's a little bit ways away. I'll probably try to find somewhere a little tighter on this one. Maybe just looking at a trend-based extension here at 59.43 would probably be a level that I would probably look at, which 58.88 was the one on the 4 hour here. So the one on the daily, 59.43 is a little higher than that. So, and given that we've already hit the 61.8% level and kind of broke above it and have been above this and went into the bull zone, that 59.43 would kind of be my level to sell. I have an order in at 60.50, but I think I might move it to a little earlier because
sell order.
That's a long way to go. What?
You talking about a sell order?
Yeah, did I say buy? Yeah,
no, you just said you had an order. I was just wanting to make sure.
Oh yeah, my sell order is in from the long I just took.
Okay,
right here, and then I'll be selling it out at the 200% level, which is at 60.50. But I think I'm going to move it down to the 59.43, and then if that goes up to that point, if it gets up to that level, then the shallow fib will be at 58.42, and then I'll buy that, and then 60.50 will be that. If it wants to stair step its way up, that's the way I'm going to kind of approach that. But yeah, we're in a new bull zone here on SPY. So that's what I got, and that's what I'm following at the moment. If there's anything else we want to look at, we can pop it in there. But that's what I got for the short amount of time that I had today.
yeah. We can just jump on what I've got here real quick before you jump off.
Yep. I got about 5 more minutes, and I got to bolt.
5 minutes? Okay. All right. Let's jump on here then. So big picture Bitcoin, again, I continue to discuss the fact that this does appear to be the low down here. We can look at the volume and price relationship throughout this range. It comes down to a big old huge spike of volume there, large lower wick. Hit the 38.2 area, which is usually what we look for a wave 4. So it looks clean. I mean, again, I keep saying, even if we were to break down below here, I wouldn't be concerned because, it's a wave 4. When we look at this here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we would look, generally speaking, at the 50% level as the secondary wave 4 target. That's around 42,856. So, even if we had done that, wouldn't have been concerned. I've said that a lot, but I do believe it is looking quite like the low is in there. And so, the question becomes, what are we doing right here? Now, we've had this great rally. I told everybody I wanted to see a rally up to at least around this kind of 63,700 area, because if we got that, let me see if I can do it here. About like that. Then the pullback on that, the 50% is right around where that daily pivot would be. So, nice. Potentially a wave 1 into a wave 2, find support at the pivot, because structurally the models that I use with pivots, an Elliott wave, that's what we would generally look for. So I like what we've done so far here. Now, if we were to get rejected here, maybe occasionally, it's rare, but wave Y can be a triangle. So we could have like A, B, C, D, and then 3 waves down for E, and then go. But even if this is, 1, 2 and heading up, or this is still Y finishing a triangle, or either way, you're not going to, I don't believe you're going to get 52 or anything like that. I think the low is in here. I believe this low is likely in here. Want to go up. What do I want to see? I want to see structurally, we've got, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So I want to see a breakout structurally here on this macro look above this 70,040 area to break that bearish market structure. So for me, if you really want to keep it simple on the macro, that's what you guys need to break out above, because again, that is the last lower high before the last lower low. So you've got this series of those coming down here. So you have to go above that last one there to really kind of say, okay, well, that bearish market structure has been broken there. But anyway, really liking that, we came down into the pivot, bounced, then dropped through, almost hit the EQ of the daily demand structure here, rallied up. We hit it, the daily pullback broke out around the previous swing high here, the local one, pulled back, found support on the daily pivot, and we've broken out higher. And now we're rallying up into liquidity up here. So the structure on that rally has been really, really nice. You kind of alluded to that on the shorter time frames there. You build these bases along the way, guys. So you build the base here, you rally up, you pull back. You build the base here, rally up, you pull back to it. You build the base here, rally up. Often you continue pulling back until you get to the point where you finally pull back a little bit further. But I mean, that's healthy rally right there, guys. You get really concerned when you start having these strong, impulsive movements off the swing low area, because that leaves you a lot of open space there to drop back through. Whereas if you're building basing along the way here, it gives you support as you're going there. So really liking what I'm seeing so far up there. For our, I guess for our trading club members too, I believe I said this, and for our group coaching students, when we were back down here, back in these lows down here, I said I was looking for a rally up to the R1 pivot on the indexes here. So the NASDAQ, the SPY, and the Dow Jones, we got them. It looks like they might want to break out a little bit higher and then maybe pull back. Right here, the Dow just continues. Look at the importance of the Dow leading the way here, guys. Look, the Dow made that, new all-time high over here back at the end of August. S&P just made it over here the other day, just a couple of days ago. NASDAQ has not yet made a new all-time high. So the importance of the Dow doing it is that what it's telling you is you're getting a broad-based rally. Everybody was concerned while the Mag 7 here continued to go up and up, and so NASDAQ led the rallies. Everybody's concerned, there's no breadth in the structure. It's just a few stocks that are really leading it. Well, if that was your concern, now you have damn near everybody jumping in. I think we've got like a 70+ percent of stocks are now above their 50 MA. So, this is a broad-based rally. This is what you want to see. This is strength. This is a healthy market. So again, we could get a little bit further push out here before we get a pullback. But once we do, I'll be looking for a 50% pullback off the rally as the initial target on all three of these. You just have to get your fib retracement tool out, just measure it up, whatever the top happens to be there, if it's already in or if it does break a little bit higher. But we'll be looking for a 50% pullback. And then what was that?
And rates going lower.
What was that? Yeah, right. Right.
Interest rates dropping on a stock market high. Let's go.
Yeah, right, exactly. Now that said, it was an aggressive move, guys. Don't get it wrong. It was an aggressive move by Powell. If you've been following me, I was looking for a 25 basis point rate hike. There was no reason to do more than that. I said if you wanted to find a reason to do that, the reason would be that you thought that they should have raised rates a quarter of 25 basis points back in July. And Powell came out and pretty much said that in the presser afterward. He said, we would have raised in July if we'd had the employment data. So, he did a good job of being, sufficiently dovish during the presser to kind of take the sting out of the 50 point. But man, I'm still, again, it's not about the 50 point itself. It's about the market's reaction to it. And the one thing I warned about is if they jump out straight up with a 50, that's going to make a lot of market participants concerned that they feel like they're behind, that they're concerned that the economy is getting worse or whatever.
Yeah.
Powell did what he could, in there saying that they didn't, they weren't doing it from a point of weakness. They didn't believe that the economy was, weak or anything like that, that things were still looking good. But basically, again, alluded to the fact that maybe they should have done it in July if they'd had the numbers there. So, but I'm seeing hedge funds talking about panic rate cuts by the Fed there, a 50 basis point. And that's what I was referring to would happen if we got the 50. Now, does that mean we go down from here? I still don't think so. Again, I've mentioned before that even if we got the 50, I still believe we're going higher overall. I believe we continue up through the end of the year at least. I don't think recession worries or anything you guys need to focus on this year at all. I think we've got a great, fourth quarter coming in. That doesn't mean, again, that we're not going to pull back a bit here, but overall, I think we end up real good through the end of the year, whether you're trading stocks or you're trading, Bitcoin and crypto and whatnot. By the way, we're seeing growth stocks yesterday, growth stocks were advancing beyond value stocks. And yeah, that's kind of the thing you want to see. You also want to see small cap stocks kind of doing their thing. Russell 2000 still doing well because, again, that makes they're usually more what's the word? Sensitive to U.S. economic stuff that's going on, because small caps are, most of their sales are coming stateside here, whatnot, smaller, all that kind of stuff. So, IWM keeps going up there. RTY, if you want to trade the futures on that. So, I mean, overall, again, a lot of people are going to come out, but the reason they're going to come out and talk about recession is because in the past, this happened when they did it. In the past, this happened when they did it. But they're not looking at these other things we usually look at. As a matter of fact, if you look at the 10 most used indicators of a recession, only 2 of them are actively saying maybe a recession. The other 8 are not. So again, if you follow on what you hear, generally kind of talked by everybody online, you might want to be a little cautious about that. Usually when people are talking about things, those things don't happen. Another way to look at it. So, yeah.
All right. I hate to cut you off, but I got a bolt.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you showing up for a bit.
You bet. All right. Take care. Thanks for having me, man.
Take care, man.
Yep.
All right. Well, so Fibbo's gone. He had to go, unfortunately. But at least we were able to get him in here. Gold. Again, I talked about a breakout higher. Could see us heading up here toward 2741.90. Ultimately, still looking up. I mean, at that point, somewhere between here and there, we get the pullback, like a 4th wave. And I'll be looking for a 5th wave up here, at least around 3,053 kind of area there for gold. So I think gold's still looking good on all that. Ethereum, quite likely bottom down here. I've got this potential as leading diagonal, and then we've got a deep wave 2. We'll need I want to see a breakout above. I've got it marked here. Let me kind of zoom out to the daily here. This 25.97 area. I want to see a breakout above that to add some confidence to the idea that this low may be in here. We're heading up there. If we are, obviously, let me see here. That would get us 33.29 target, and then 36.89 target would be what we'd be looking at for the Ethereum. I've mentioned Ethereum a couple of times here over the last few weeks. The sentiment is absolutely dog trash. It is in the dirt. It is it's what we look for, when bottoms are in. Most likely when bottoms are in. And so, again, we're getting that's the same thing we saw with Bitcoin when it hit that 49,000 level. Everybody absolutely, bearish on it and whatnot. There's people still out there that are, but that's the kind of sentiment that we look for is one of the things that says, well, maybe the bottom may be in there. Okay. So I'm watching this really well here. I'm really kind of focused on it because if we can get the movement, I think it's going to take off and leave a lot of people sitting on their thumbs, expecting it to continue to have gone much lower. And when it does that, usually then people will end up getting concerned about how do I enter? And oh my God, it's gone up too high and I shouldn't enter now. And what does it do? It just keeps going, right? So, if you're in our group coaching or in our C3 membership, the Traders Club just opened here, but I would have mentioned it to them had they been there last week and week before. But with Bitcoin, what I've been mentioning about Bitcoin here, especially since we were around this 57, 58 area, is that this may not be the rally that you want to continue to get in and out of because we might see a lot more of this choppiness on that rally. And that's, again, that's what we continue to see here, right? And so it makes your shorter term kind of counts a little off. But in terms of when you've made a bottom and you start moving out of that bottom, a lot of times this is the kind of structure you're going to see. You're going to see a lot of this jerky kind of action going up, not a lot of really impulsive action, right? And what we do is you get these rallies and then you get these bases, right? So you come up here, based, rallied, pulled back to the base, rallied up, based, rallied up, find support in the top half of the base here, rally up, come back on the base, rally up, support on the previous base right here. You see that? So you keep on kind of doing that, and that just continues to, on the 15-minute and the 1 hour, that just continues to reset and to build, and so you get those smaller movements along the way. But what you do if you're in this position is that you kind of move your stop loss up with you, right? But you watch the 15-minute, you watch the 1 hour, you look for the resets and see if you can get some rally off those resets. And then if you do, you just continue to follow along with that as it pushes up higher. But don't forget to move your stop loss with you if you're thinking, you don't want to take too much of a drop in your profit when you finally get out. But that, again, this structure we usually look for looks good. If we're breaking down where we are here, I'm looking potentially as far as the R1 pivot there locally here, this little local targets to the downside. So if we do break down below this, by the way, this morning we swept that low there and rallied back up. Well, we're pulling about halfway back into the wick, so no guarantees it'll break down. But if it does, I'm actually looking for about a 62,372 and then a 61,829 target areas if we get them. And then those would then give us, if we got the 38.2, would give me an initial target here of 65,250 or so. If we got the 50, that would kind of give me around 65, 610, 611, around that. If we go from where we're at here, if we don't break down any lower here and we just kind of go up and break out, then initially I'm just looking for a target of around 65, 120, 121, right around there. All right, guys. Corey, what's up, man? When you get a minute, check Discord. Oh, God, I haven't checked Discord in forever and a day. Sent you a DM, want to sort out TWC access. Oh, miss you, Fibbo and the gang. Oh, man, yeah, let me jump on that. I'll try to get it done as early as I can today, buddy. It may be a little bit later, though, because I've got this, and then I've got the mentor session after this and a few other things. But, yeah, thank you for letting me know, man. I have not – if you guys have sent me anything on Discord, I really, since we moved over to the new platform, have not been back there. So let me know. Well, I guess you don't have to let me know. I'll see it now when I get there. So thanks for letting me know, man. Yeah, I'll jump on there and get that figured out with you. Let me see here. The VET chart. The VET chart. What do we got on VET? Do we like VET? Man, I liked VET for a while. It was doing some good stuff as far as price action goes. Let's see what we got here. Oh, yeah, look at me. I've got potential wave 2 finish down here. Got this rally pullback, breaking out higher. Excuse me. You're going to see this same general kind of structure here. If you guys are looking at alts on the daily, you're going to see this same general kind of structure. You're going to see a wick here, and then a slightly lower, bigger wick here, and then a slightly higher, smaller wick here. And it's going to look just about like this across so many of them. Let's jump out here to the weekly. I like the bounce here off the S1 pivot on the weekly. Let me see here. I've got this potentially as a 1 and a 2 here. And if so, that gives us a 3 up around where? Remember, this is the weekly here. Up there around 19 cents. If we get that, which would give us 5 up here around 33 cents. Also notice it's right up around the previous swing high, which is the all-time high. When you're doing Elliott wave, this is what you're looking for. If you've got a complete correction, usually your first 5 subwaves up are going to terminate right around the previous swing high. Sometimes a little bit below, sometimes a little bit above, but most often, just around that area. So this kind of structure heading up there, I do like. The fact that we've got all these wicks here, we had it back here on the week of November 20th of 23, and then we had it here, and then we had it here, and then we had it here. Again, that tells us that there's that, that buying demand here, and then right above it, And so it continues to move with that. Let me see here. You zoom into the 1 hour. What we got going on the 1 hour here? 1 hour reset. We've got 3-wave pullback here. So I'll tell you right now, if we break out above this swing high right here at about 0.02431. So if we just don't go any lower here, if we don't make a new low and we just continue up through that level, locally, I would be at least looking for a target of around 0.025. So we'll see what happens. We had we have this big wick here. I mean, look at what you guys got to pay attention to price action, right? Look what's going on here. Same area, large large fair value gap here, right? Bullish fair value gap. Then a large wick into it. And then a large bearish fair value gap down through that same area. And now a large wick back up through it. So what does that tell you? That tells you if you overcome this area here, you should be good to go higher. But, again, we're looking at 1, 2, 3 here. So if we can get out above that swing high, I'd be looking, this interior swing high right here, I'd be looking to head up long toward that target area. We do have a reset down here on the stochastic RSI, down into oversold. A great little bit of structure down here leading to this rally. And again, kind of like Bitcoin, right? You pull back to the previous resistances, right? Yeah, right here, pull back to the previous one, made some sideways, rallied up, pulled back to this one, pulled up here, right? And then we kind of got this bigger move up. So we'll have to see how this plays out here. If we were to break down further instead, below that swing low, 0.02287 is where I'd be looking on that. But if we get that, I think that would give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a leading diagonal, 3 up, and then we'd have 5 coming back down before we'd be looking for a reversal up. But again, really looking for the breakout higher here to kind of carry us higher if we can get it. Volume's pretty strong on the swing high up here on the 4 hour. You can see we had a huge spike of volume up there at the top. And then we had a big, pretty, not quite the same, but it's still a significant bit of volume coming in on the down. But we're still finding support for right now, right in the same area where we had the previous close. So we had the open, we got the close. Trying to find it there. Again, right here where you have your previous resistance and support. Learn to look left, guys. It's going to help you out so much. I mean, look at this. If I just draw this support here where we were at, look at this here. Resistance, support, resistance, 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 support here, support, support, support here, right? So significant area right there around that. So if we can hold that and, push out higher, that would give us that target. And then we'd be looking for a pullback then at least toward this kind of area where we're at right now for doing that. But bigger picture, again, potentially got a, I think we'd probably have to look at this as a 1 and then an A and then a B and then a C here as a large expanded flat. So locally, so give me a target of 0.02915 followed by 0.03210. And again, with this previous swing high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives us 5 waves up right around there. So again, what we would kind of be looking for right there. All right. What do we got here? Ethereum, Bitcoin. Daily needs to bounce off the high volume node around the 0.75 fib level. Ethereum, Bitcoin. Let's see what we got here. Would that break out from all-time highs or cycle peak wave 5 is 33 cents? You talking about on VET there? That's just previous. This not previous, but this cycle's high right here is what that would be. Sorry. Yeah. So I think that's what you were asking, right? That one. If you're looking at the weekly, if you were talking about the weekly here, that is the all-time high there. So the daily one that we're looking at would be this so far the cycle high. The weekly would be just above the all-time high up there. And so, even with this kind of iffy here, but looks like it's, 1, 2, 3, 4, get a 5 as a diagonal on that. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for on that. Ethereum here. What do we got? What was the question there with Ethereum? Bitcoin daily needs to bounce. Is this the daily? Nope, this is the monthly. Let's get to the daily. Oh, look at that daily move there. Okay, I'm going to tell you what right now. First thing I love about this is we came in sideways between the pivot and the S1, and we are rallying off that S1. We got a bullish engulfing candle yesterday on bigger volume there, which we like to see right at support, printing twin. Oh my gosh, can't think what the word is. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, and then we're getting good follow through today up into this previous resistance area. So I like, as far as the daily goes, love the way that's started there. Doesn't look like we have any kind of divergence or anything going on there. Let me see. There's a question here. How about the 0.75 level we have on the local low high? When you say local low high, I assume you mean this here, which I assume you're looking at. Well, no. I'm not sure where, when you say the local low high, I'm not sure exactly where you're pulling that from. When you say that, I think of this area right here. That local high right there. But I don't really see the high volume node you're talking about in that case then. So I don't know if you can, give me maybe some dates where you'd pull it from, the swing high, the swing low. I could probably figure out what you're talking about better there. But yeah, so I mean, again, low volume nodes here, low volume nodes do the work of kind of either holding you back or you pop through them. So again, right here, you can see this low volume node right here. See how we got rejected there? And then we got rejected on the top side here and here. But look what's happened to the candle here. We rallied up through it. So most often you're rallying up through here. We should rally up further and pull back and retest it like these areas here, that low volume node, before continuing up higher. Generally, what I look for when I see this kind of model coming here where we got price action moving in between the pivot and the S1, the first model I look for is a rally off the S1 into the pivot. So initially, if I was paying attention yesterday, I had seen this, I would have gone long on this. This would have been my trade initially. Would have been something like this with the target up here around that daily. Understanding that, again, we've got another week and a half or so until a week and a half until the end of the month. So, and at the end of the month, this pivot on the daily will change. So, that could change. But right now, that's generally how I play that. So that would be, almost a 6-hour trade right there if we do that. Let me see here. Yeah, so that's what I'd look for. Locally, got a bit of resistance there. So kind of, we're getting up into this other lower volume node right here. So if we can get impulsive breakout and close above that descending resistance, that should be a good indication. We'll probably target that pivot. But, once you get through that pivot, again, low volume nodes, small price acceptance, another low volume node. There's a lot of low volume in this area until you're getting up here around, 5 cents or so. Or I'm sorry, not 5 cents, but 0.51 sats there on it. So a lot of work for it still to do, but I like this so far. As far as the weekly goes, another thing that would be really good is if the weekly here closes above the previous week's open. So the previous week opened at 0.04187. So if we can get a close this week above that, and especially this volume continues picking up, that's going to look really good. You can see here on the weekly that we're bouncing just above oversold on RSI. Stoke RSI bottomed out and oversold here. So a lot of reasons to potentially go long here. I would have preferred to have seen the weekly S1 pivot hold this support here, but we didn't get it. Let me see here. But I mean, those are the steps I'd be looking for. Larger time frame here. If we can get an impulsive breakout and close above this kind of this large descending resistance, so up here probably around 0.05 or whatever. Impulsive close, breakout and close on the weekly above that. That's going to go a long way towards suggesting that that low may actually be in there. But right now we do, it does have work to do. We've still got to see it continue, to push here and do this work. But if it does, that really does open up the possibility that we're going to get that new all-time high. And of course, with everybody being so down on, Ethereum at the moment, that's really going to blow some minds. And just for Ethereum to outperform Bitcoin doesn't mean Bitcoin has to go down and Ethereum go up. I mean, they can both go up. It would just be that Ethereum goes up at a faster clip than Bitcoin does, right? So a couple different ways that you can get that kind of playing out there. Yeah, still looking for that to potentially get that breakout there. So we'll see what happens overall here. We do have, let me see here. Damn, almost had bullish divergence here. Same idea though. I mean, we're going for the swing low here, but it ends here. The last, this higher low right here is actually the black candle, not the white candle. So, again, when you're doing divergences like bullish or hidden bullish divergence, it has to be from the swing low of the RSI to the swing low of the candle. So it's fine here, right? It's fine at the beginning here, right there. But here, the swing low of the RSI is this black candle, and price continues to print a lower swing low. So that's not, legit bullish divergence. We like to see that there's still, RSI or your oscillator is still gaining momentum, to the buy side momentum, but you wouldn't call that a divergence there because it doesn't align. If you do it from the tops, it has to be from the swing highs in the RSI or whatever your oscillator is to the swing high in price, right? If not, then it doesn't count. So like right here, you can see this swing high to this swing high. And you can see that's a higher high and that's a lower high here. That's bearish divergence. Tells you to go short, right? If you were in any doubt, you have this candle followed by this large bearish engulfing candle on volume. Minimally, you should have at least been out there, right? And put your stop loss above the swing high. So, if you didn't do it on the bearish divergence there, this confirmation here should have had you going short. And if you continue to write it down to where we were, it's 1.67 R, R on that trade because it's the weekly, right? So it's a lot larger move there, but that's the way you're kind of looking at it when you're trying to setting it up. While you're looking at BTC pairs, how about Litecoin, Bitcoin, most depressing chart? Let me see here. Do I have? Okay, I do have one here. Let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. Potentially a 1 here, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a leading diagonal. Potentially ABC is a 2 here. Get this off here. I think it said potentially Let me see here. Yeah, this is just, this sideways on the weekly just sucks. What the hell's going on here? We had some, do we have bullish divergence there? Some very, very slight bullish divergence there. It looks like, yeah, from this swing low into that swing low, which gave us the boost and the pullback, a boost higher, pullback. Oh man, that's awful. What's going on here? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of 3 waves up. Looks like an ABC. Looks like an ABC. If we don't make a new low here, and instead we break out above, what is that? 0.001114. If we don't make a new low here, and instead we break out here, I mean, that might suggest that we've got a leading diagonal going on here. 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe something like that, right? It's possible, but this is ugly, man. This is, I mean, this was an easy trade off the swing low here into this resistance, into the supply structure. That was an easy trade. Pulling back up into liquidity here, another potential easy trade. But the rest of this just kind of, I mean, look at this. You got a big wick. I mean, look at this. You don't even have much of a fair value gap at all right here. You have this large wick, large down wick. This sucks. This was a nicer one here, which caught this pullback and gave the rally up to liquidity here. But man, you know, then we just kind of came on down through it, and there ain't crap for one here. So not really liking it at the moment. Looking for a reason for it, maybe, you know, I mean, you know, just looking for some possibility here. Like I said, if we can stay above this swing low and instead break out above this interior swing high here, that opens up the possibility that we'll rally up to a new high here. Maybe, you know, this 0.00126 area maybe. But no guarantees at the moment. This one of the ones where you definitely want to give it some room to do its thing. I've got it down here because the S1 pivot's down here, so maybe it comes down to the S1 pivot. So that would be so close to the previous swing low, though. Not liking it a lot at the moment. So I'd be really careful about that if you guys were potentially thinking about that one. Let me see here. Oh, I hit the wrong thing there. Damn it. Change this real quick. Somebody was asking about SUI earlier. I do here. So we're just gonna keep on going. Let's see if we can see what we got here again off that August 5th swing low. Great move up. It looks like we've got a 1 and then an A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here as an expanded flat. So if I'm counting, I'm saying 1 here, expanded flat, 2 here, which means 3 is in progress. And that would give us a minimum expected target of 42.67. Now the other possibility is always that this could be just a ABC, since we're up here around between the 100 and 123.6. But I know we don't like that idea, right? I like the move through the low volume node here. Again, as I was talking about on the other one there, you get rejected at it or it flies through it. There's really no in between. You can get rejected at it, find support, find resistance. But your only other thing is that it flies right through it, right? And so we're kind of seeing that here. What do I like here? Let me see. What do I like? Do I like this? So we've got diagonal resistance, but importantly, we've got large candle spread, bit of a spike of volume pushing through that. So we like that. Let me see here. Zoom out to the weekly here. I mean, we've broken through every, interior swing high off the all-time high there. If I was to count this down, yeah, I mean, so it looks like we've got maybe some sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, so if I'm looking at it, it seems to suggest, why don't I use this right here? Because we don't use the entries into the exchange. We look at the next pullback, from that as the start. Because this is all, this is just getting on the exchange. It's all, people getting their orders filled and whatever on that. It's a deep pullback, 85.4. But yeah, I mean, if I'm looking at it like this, we've broken out above wave B here. Ultimately, I would be looking for it to continue up toward that $2.42 to $2.43 for a wave 3. The monthly, that's a great look on the monthly. Nice doji here, large lower and upper wicks. Good volume on that. Follow through now with similar volume. We've still got another week and a half left in this month. Monthly looks great. Three-day, I don't know. If we were to continue pulling back here, I'd probably look for 1.2544, followed by a secondary target of 1.1683. If we were to go ahead and continue pulling back from where we're at here. You notice that 50% one, that secondary target's right here at that previous resistance support level. And right at the bottom side of that fair value gap. So yeah, that would be my initial targets on continued pullback here. It's possible we can have a 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 for this pullback. So if we were to break out higher, it was 50% pullback then. Let me see if we got 3 waves. It looks like 5 waves. Yeah, I'm not really happy with this. That looks like 5 waves. We do have a fair value gap here. This could be an A, a B, and get a short C down here a little bit further. So if we were to get a breakdown here, just like, again, it looks like 1, 2, we get a 3 here or something, and then break out above this swing high at 1.5235. Then I could see us maybe heading up one more time, but you'd have to measure it out again. Use your fib retracement tool. Just make sure you have your 1618 extension on it. And then you just measure from the swing high to wherever the swing low is, and that 1618 would give you your target. So I mean, zooming in, that does look like 5. But you know, if we were to break out there, you know, that's what I'd kind of be looking at, wherever the pullback is. If this is somehow 3 here, they give us a little shorter target there at about 1.6535 area locally anyway. All right. One more here. I'll do one more. IOUSDT. IOUSDT. All right. You know, with all these, it's such an ugly start here. It's not a clean 5 up. So I have to assume they're expanded flats if it's going to be bullish, if the low is going to be in. So I would assume this would have to be a 1 and a 2 is a flat here. That's got to go higher than that, though. She's not sure how else we get. Yeah, I'm just not sure how else we get 5 waves up here, really. See right here, this looks like an ABC, ABC. So that would be a WXY. We got 3 waves down. So 3 waves down, 3 waves up. Yeah, and then we can get 5 down here to give us a big expanded flat. So, I mean, normally we would assume a wave 3 here, 2647. But I want to see wave 4. I think we would get a higher wave 3 out of this. I think we'd probably get closer to the 2618 extension at 39.97. That keeps wave 4 above wave B, which is usually what we're looking for. Yeah. See what we got here. Nothing really working there. What do we got sideways here? Even the volume isn't overly helpful on the range here. We have some drop off in volume. Well, I don't know. We have drop off in volume down toward the low here. What I would look for is if we're going to continue to pull back here, I'd look for a target of the, what is this, the daily pivot? Around 1.78. And then I would look for the big move out. Yeah, it potentially gets us about a 50% pullback there. So we can look maybe at 5 waves up, 3-wave pullback down there toward that 1.73, 1.78 area for 50%. And then we get the move out. That'd be our wave 3. That would print our jump across the creek on here. Pull back there. Give us a jump across the creek, which would be a large candle spread, large spike of volume coming with it. Yeah, okay. So that's what I'm looking at. 1, 2, 3, which gets us pretty close to that the 268, 261.8 extension I was talking about. 4, 5. Yep. I think it's probably what we're looking for. So, well, actually, that'd be 1, 2 there. This would be 1, 2 here. I'm sorry. That would actually be 1, 2 here. 3, 4, 5. Which gets us that larger extension wave 3 here. There we go. Now we're getting 5 up here, probably pretty close to the swing high. Yep. Four would be that pullback around $2.90. And then 5 should carry us pretty close to the all-time high up there. Yep, look at that. Right up into the supply in the wicks there. It's 6.15. So, I mean, from what we're looking at here, if we can get the pullback down here toward this 50% area for the wave 2, that's what I'd be looking for. 3 up, 4 on the pullback. 5 of 3 up here, 4 on the pullback. Again, notice your 4 and your 4 pulling back this previous support area, creating more support. Because what will happen is you'll get 5, which will give you 1, right? And your 2 is going to be right back down toward this same area. So your 5 waves up, your 2. Look at that, right there where I dropped it. So again, this makes sense, right? Because your larger degree, you're usually going to have more involvement, right? So you have a small degree, 4 pulls back this previous area of resistance here, building that kind of base here, boom, pulls back. Larger degree, 4 gets even more activity here, same area. So now you're building this base right here. Already, you hit it, you can see it rejected here. We'll come up, we'll come back in it, build some more, up, come back in it, build some more, up, come back in it. And now you've got 1, 2, 3 other times that you've been in here building support for this larger wave 2 where more people are going to be selling. So it's a larger support area, a larger bit of support you're going to have in there to catch that there. And that's why it works like that. All right. Andrew said he just longed not in the Traders Club with the tight stop loss there. So those of you that are in it, check it out. I think that'll do it for me. Let me jump over to Bitcoin real quick, see what we're doing. Again, if we're pulling back, we got these 38.2 and the 50% retracement levels. We'll see if we get there. 15-minute. This is just a bunch of overlapping price action. Nothing we can really gleam off all that. So, yeah, we'll see if we get the breakdown here toward these 2 levels, or if we'll get a breakout instead. I'm thinking we may get that breakdown a little bit further there, but we'll see. All right, guys. As always, remember, the only thing you control is how much you lose. So please keep working on that risk management. I always appreciate you guys showing up here and hanging out with me for a bit. Just do it. Just keep coming back. Like I said, be sure you hit the like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me if you're, somewhere else online seeing this. Share the link. I'd love to see that. Leave some comments. And we'll do this again next week. All right. I hope you guys have a great Friday. Have an even better weekend. And we'll look back on Monday ready to jump in and do some more, right? All right. Don't forget, guys, check out TWCTradersClub.com. You get my trade, you'll get Fibbo's trade, you'll get Andrew's trades. We've had a lot of good wins already this week since we launched on Tuesday. So, Plus, you get to learn about risk management and market psychology and all these, kind of things. We've got a, by the way, if you're in there, if you join today, we've got a onboarding session we're going to do a little bit later today. If you can't make it live, that's fine. I'll have the recording available for you guys to check it out after. We're going to kind of go over the platform and everything else. All right. Take care, everybody. Bamboo, man. Take care, buddy. We'll see y'all later. Maybe.